Hi there, friends. My name is Jeannie Shop, and I come to you from my company, Pathways Towards Literacy. It's been a while since I have made a video. I've just been incredibly busy and actually just really took time for myself to really reflect and contemplate and grow. And then I started just working in schools as I do and traveling. So, yeah, I finally have some space here to talk to you today about something that has been brewing for 20 years. So in April, you're going to be able to get your hands on a book that has the potential to change children's lives. And it's titled Reading Isn't Optional: Fulfilling the Promise of Literacy for Secondary Students. And you see, this book, it started 20 years ago. It started 20 years ago when my own two daughters, with neurodiverse brains. One's premature and the other has dyslexia. Um, Entered middle school and then moved through high school. And as a parent, and I know some of you who are out there and have neurodiverse children, there's nothing more difficult, right, than watching your own kids, right, struggle in school. And they're good kids. But the reality is, they deserve better instruction than they received. They deserve better systems. But nobody really knew what they didn't know. And it was harder than it had to be for them. And then, as a balanced literacy whole language teacher, I went from elementary into the middle school. And that's where I have my national board certification. And I applied my reading specialist degree. But this is where the real work for me began. It was in the work, in the trenches, working with curriculum, seventh grade curriculum, and coming to the realization that many of the students that I was serving couldn't access grade level text. And this is where I understood the role of structured literacy in my classroom. And yes, I had standards and yes, I had a curriculum, but just deeply understanding how to ensure all of my students had access to grade level text and showed success. But on top of that, I had the opportunity to get trained in structured literacy intervention. So I took my first course on intervention where I realized this is how you teach children to read. I mean, I had gone almost 16, 17 years not even knowing how children learn to read. And when I got this instruction, I'm like, this is it. And I got the privilege of working with students in the middle school and high school that had extreme amount of unfinished learning. And in working with these students, watching them transform in my eyes because I was teaching them to read and gain confidence, but also having a broken heart for these kids that so many of them, right, are just carrying such trauma from really not being taught to read. And these are all capable, bright children, and no one ever taught them to read and spell. And so they're carrying that weight of the world. And so um, I use that knowledge to work alongside my leader and other teachers in my building to transform our middle school. So we literally transformed our middle school. So we adopted structured literacy and evidence-based practices and systems that take to help us our schedule intervention. And I'm so proud because when I retired, they're still doing it today, my school. They're blue ribbon school, and I'm proud of them because they're changing kids' life. And so when I retired and I got into this work of consulting, I would talk to teachers all over the country, and they'd say, Jeannie, there's all this out there for elementary teachers, but is there a book for me? And I have to say, honestly, there isn't one. There isn't a book for me, for you. And as I talk to leaders in the field, they're like, well, Jeannie, maybe you should write it. And I thought, huh, maybe I could write this book. But you see, I could have written this book all by myself, but I realized that this dream that I have, this big dream of transforming literacy for students in the 6 through 12 space is way bigger than me, way bigger. And so when you have a really, really big dream, right, you do have two choices. Like you can choose me, like I'm going to write this book, or I'm going to choose we, and I'm going to elicit help. And friends, I chose we. and I asked for help. And I asked leaders all across the field to contribute to this book and bring their expertise because we need all of these voices to raise up adolescent literacy. Because realize, friends, I get you. I was in secondary space. Like, you're trained in literature. And I have a good friend that says, I never was taught how to kid to read. And you're right. You're trained as in literature. You're not trained in literacy. So I took my vision, I took my dream um, to these amazing experts that are going to support this work. And this book is better because I have all these incredible voices, and I'm so excited to bring it to you. So in January, it is January, but the end of the month, I'm hoping there's pre-sales coming. And then it'll be on the shelf in April. And I really look forward to talking to all of you about how this book changed your life, how this book changed the lives of children in your building. Because I know, right? We're all here because we want to see our kids reach their potential, and we have to open doors for them, not close them. And I'm so excited. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you for helping me, because I'm going to need you too, friends, to raise this book up so it gets in the hands of everybody. Because I know we have 70% of our kids graduating that can't read, and I know we want to change things for our children because these are our future leaders. So thank you. Have a good day, and remember, reading isn't optional. Together, let's fulfill the promise of literacy for our secondary students. Thank you.